So the topic of this video is how to conduct a literature survey. So literature survey is something you need to do whenever you write a technical paper or a thesis, or in a specialized case if you take on the task of writing a review paper. Now, what is a literature survey? A literature survey is basically a collection of all the papers which are relevant to your work, and you basically need to go through these papers and come out with an analysis of the content of these papers and write this out. So this is the whole scope of this literature survey problem. Now, in the old days, we had to go to libraries and browse through various journals and find these papers to conduct a literature survey, and this was one of the most difficult parts of doing a PhD or a master's thesis. But today you have access to a lot of internet tool, and in particularly I find Google Scholar very useful for conducting a literature survey. So let us first talk about the literature survey you need to do for writing a technical paper. So in this case, let us, for example, to give a concrete example, think of a topic like motorcycle vibration. And if you go to Google Scholar and you type in motorcycle vibration, you can find a whole lot of references on this topic. So what you can do is you can take, say, the first 10 references, and you can take a look at them, read these papers. Then in Google Scholar there is a way to actually look at the references which are published in the last 1 year, last 3 years and last 5 years. So what I would do is I would go to these particular situations. You can select this in Google Scholar and then look at the top 5 to 10 papers published during the last 1 year, 3 years and 5 years. And again try to access these papers and read them. So this kind of provides a good starting point for a literature survey, because it is expected that the papers you read which are published in the last year, last 3 years and last 5 years will provide a lot of literature in terms of the discussion which is present in these papers. The papers which Google Scholar presents when you just search for something are typically ranked in terms of citations, and so that will provide you with the papers which have been cited quite substantially, and these may be the important papers in the field which you don't want to miss. So typically by doing this activity you would get a collection of some 30 to 40 papers, and these may also include conference papers, journals papers, thesis, sometimes books and so on. And by going through these you will get a good idea about the literature in this field which we selected. Now, if you are in a university or research institution which has access to journals, it's fairly easy to find the various papers and to download them and read them. And if you do not have access to some journals, there are sites like ResearchGate. You can go to such a site and try to find if the author has put up his paper there. So in these are basically repositories, and various researchers deposit a copy of their paper there. In case you cannot find papers there also, what you can do is you can write to the author personally. You may be able to get their email from the paper or from Google, and by writing to them you can request them that you need a PDF file of their paper. And believe me, most people are very willing to send you a PDF file of their paper, because not only it doesn't cost much to them, and it also helps them to propagate their research, which is one of the reasons people are in this business in the first place. So that's something you can start off a literature survey very quickly if you use a tool like Google Scholar. And because this tool is very good in terms of picking up papers published in a certain field, you can get most of the papers in this field. Now, Google Scholar also provides you with a place where you can look at related papers. So when you do a search on, for example, motorcycle vibration, there is also a place known as related searches, and you can look at papers in fields which are very close by. And again, sometimes you may find papers which are useful to you by browsing through this content. So again, what I would typically do is I would collect all these papers and I would read them. And then when you read a paper, you don't have to read the entire paper at the first setting. So you can read the abstract, go through the introduction and the conclusion, and determine if this paper is relevant to the research problem which you are doing. Because you are trying to read 40 to 50 papers here, you want to be selective about the reading. And maybe you can bring down this set to a lower number of set for further detailed study. But in your literature review, you can cite these various papers and explain that as to what exactly they have taken. Like they may have done the problem using a certain mathematical method or a certain technique, and so you can bridge them into basically you can describe this whole collection of papers which have used this method or have used a different method and so on. So one of the reasons the literature survey is very important is I think most of the learning takes place when people do a literature survey. So as far as research is concerned, the thing which differentiates a bachelor's degree student and a graduate student is that the graduate student typically spends a lot of time doing these literature surveys, and through the process he or she gets to read a large number of publications. And the process of reading these publications and then trying to write down notes about each of these papers in their own words, this has a very deep impact in terms of their learning. So that's one of the things to do. And also when you take these notes, it's better to take them by hand rather than on computer. And also when you take notes on the papers you have collected for the literature survey, make sure that you paraphrase all the things you read in your own words. So again, this prevents you from trying to copy and paste things into your own work. So again, this saves you from this problem of plagiarism. So this is basically something which you do when you write a paper. And if you are doing literature survey for a thesis, then you need to expand it further. So you need to probe down deeper. So when you go to some of the recent references which you have collected from your literature survey, if you go to the references provided by these papers, you will soon start collecting a vast number of publications. So typically when you are writing a normal technical paper, you may have 20 to 40 references at the end of the paper. So a shallow literature survey would be sufficient to create this kind of a citation list. But if you are doing a thesis, it is expected that you go much deeper into the problem, especially if you are doing a PhD thesis. So that may have 100 or 150 papers at the end of the thesis in the bibliography. So here you want to do a very thorough search. You may want to read all the papers which Google search throws at you, and they may all be quite relevant to your problem. So again, it is expected that a PhD thesis does a very thorough review of the literature. Now in some case, if you are sufficiently confident and you take up the task of doing a literature review or a survey paper in a field, then it is expected that you have done a complete survey of the whole research done in the field. So again, when you do a survey paper, you try to go very deep into the field. You may not only use a database like Google Scholar, but you may also check out Scopus.com. And again, try to make sure that you have not neglected any paper, because again, when you write a review paper, people get upset if you do not cite their work in a review paper, because you are taking on yourself the task of reviewing the entire literature. So it's very important to be very careful when writing a review paper. So in cases of review papers, there is really no limit to the number of references you can have at the end of the paper, because the review paper is essentially a lot of descriptive work which describes the various research papers you have dug up, and then at the end you basically list all these papers. So again, one of the best ways of starting a literature survey is if you can locate a review paper which has been published in that field. So if the review paper was published recently, then that person has reduced your task in terms of performing your own literature survey. So you can quote that review paper, and you can then quote a few more papers to basically bring yourself up to date to the current literature. So typically, because review papers take a lot of time and work, they are very useful contributions to make to your research field. So again, if you have the time, you can take the time to write a review paper. So these are some of the basic concepts which I have in terms of performing a literature survey, and literature survey being a very important part of the research preparation, it's good to give yourself a lot of time in doing this. So it may take you weeks or months to do a literature survey, but it's very important to do a thorough literature survey, because this not only goes into your thesis, into papers which you write, but also in any presentations you make, for example in your thesis defense or in a colloquium. You basically need to show to the committee that you have a complete grasp on research. And in fact, the committee people, the different professors or scientists, they come to your talk primarily to learn from you about the research you have dug up when doing your literature survey. So that's one of the main contributions you make when you write a paper, is to bring the field up to date in terms of the literature. So that's why literature survey is a cornerstone in terms of scientific progress. So these are some comments I had for today. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you in my next video.